What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. My bad. What's good, Mr. Sun? Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Mr. Mike. Any review on NQ? We could go over it real quick. Um, Before I turn the stream on, I woke up like an hour and a half ago, maybe. I've been updating my charts. I'll be assuming that NQ looks similar to US 30, maybe more similar to S&P. Where the hell? Hold on. 'Cause S&P look completely different, yeah. So again, the biggest thing is what we were saying yesterday, right? So while we were seeing a lot of traders yesterday, and even during the Asia session, right, we were seeing a lot of traders get into these long positions here, right? But again, the overall move, right, from the internal time frame is still lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high point. So first thing is first, right? Just putting all the pieces together. If we're gonna trust the internal time frame, we want to see a valid break of these lows. Did we get a valid break? Yes. After we got a break, price gave us an engulfing candle, but this engulfing candle going long, not valid. The green candle, the green engulfing candle, does not have a bottom wick. So this isn't even a valid engulfing candle to start looking for long positions. Now, on the 30-minute time frame structure, again, we understood that we're trading between the change of character higher high and this low over here. So again, for today, right, until we get price to give us a change in a break on the 30, the lower time frame is going to tell the story for us. Now I want to see if the 5-minute or the 1-minute is better. I'm going to check the 1-minute first. On the 1-minute, we have we had price break these lows, and then this is where it started. Low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, low. This is where price gave you the change to the top side. Boom, change, higher, high, higher, low. Then price gave you higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Then this is where price gave you low, lower, high, lower, low, higher, high. Then price gave you lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. Then it gave you the change of character. 1-minute change. And we're looking for a set high to be made, a higher high, higher low point to then look for this valid break. So if we could get a valid break on the 1-minute back to the top side, right? The next area where I'll be looking for price to continue the trend would be these highs here. So you could take a trade somewhere here to here, wait for the break to continue into these highs here. So then continue into these highs here. Then on the 5-minute time frame, we have, yeah, same thing I was saying yesterday. The internal on the 5-minute could be still this, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. But if we get aggressive with it and we mark this here as lower low, lower high, lower low, then we have a little bit more to play with. And if we mark it up that way, then we are still trading lower low, lower high, lower low on the 5-minute time frame. So You got to think of this game like I did take a short during Asia coming off the Newsday opening gap to yesterday's midnight open price. It's not bad. It's not bad. Coming off the new day opening gap to yesterday's midnight. You know, that is the one thing a lot of traders trade, especially on NQ on the indexes, is the opening gaps, which isn't bad. You know, if your broker allows it or if your prop firm allows it, is definitely not a bad thing to trade indexes during the markets open. All right, because price open, right? It left a gap in the market, and then whatever, you know, whatever your entry model is for that for the opening days, whatever triggers that, you know, you could take those shorts into that gap for price to fill that gap. So it's definitely not bad. So NQ for the move of the day, when we're looking for the trend continuation for the rest of today, I'll be looking for that change and break on the 1 minute to then continue that trend on the higher time frames. What do you think about US 30? We'll go to US 30 right now. So US 30 right now, again, the worst thing right now about the indexes is that they're all moving differently, right? So NQ and or US 100 or NAS 100 and S&P, when the market opened, it dumped, right? It dumped. It gave us, and it's giving us right now what would look like a double bottom, right? With US 30, price just the market opened, consolidated for a little bit, and then continued these highs, right? But exactly what we talked about with even there was one other pair yesterday. I don't remember what it was, but it was like, you know, the flag post pattern, the valid break. This is what US 30 gave us, right? The flag post pattern, the retracement between 23.6 and 38.2, just a simple break and retest of the flag post pattern, right? To continue that trend to the top side. So couple hours ago, right? An hour ago at 7, it printed this engulfing candle here at the high of the day. So again, the worst thing about trading the highs of the day is just, again, as a trader, you have to ask yourself, where is the higher high gonna be set? Right? Again, it's very simple. It's just Forex one-on-one. Why is this the easiest thing to look at? Because we already understand the trends. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Right? When you're looking to get into a buy position, and this is a question in the chat. When you're looking to get into a buy position, are you looking to get into a buy position at the higher high, or are you looking to get into a buy position at the higher low? I'll give you guys a minute in the chat to answer that question. Are you looking to get into a long position, a buy position, at a higher high or at the higher low? Mr. Mike says higher low. Okay. Ascend, do you have an answer for us? Let me know if you're still in here, Mr. Ascend. Are you looking to get into a buy position at a higher high or in a higher low? Higher low, exactly. Right, so that's the first thing, right? So we all understand the trend and where we're supposed to get it, right? So then the next question is, on US 30 right now, where are we? We see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Higher low targeting previous highs, correct, right? So like, let's say I'm awake at 2 in the morning during Asia session, and let's, for the example, let's just forget that we're trading US 30. Let's just talk about the trend, right? Because again, I personally would not trade US 30 during Asia session. I wouldn't. But let's say that this is just a regular pair, just a regular trend, right? At the higher low, I'll get in here. On a regular day, I'll get in here and I'll target the previous higher highs. That would be the trade that I'm looking for. I wouldn't look at STP for the day. I wouldn't look for ADR of the day. If I get into a trade just with simple structure, this is exactly what I'm looking for, right? So right now, at the previous higher highs, what were we looking for? We're looking for a valid break. Did we get that valid break? Now with this push here at 4 in the morning, right? So now what I'm looking for at on US 30, I want to see price give us a break above this wick. I want to see a candle closure above this wick, and the candle cannot be touching the previous higher high point. Did we get that valid break? Yes. We got that valid break now at 7:30. So technically speaking, now we're trading where? The higher high. So, oh, we have an engulfing candle. Is it smart to get into a trade at the retest of this engulfing, right? To then continue that push to the top side. That's the next thing I'm looking for. And unfortunately for US 30, what's the easiest way to look for trades, right? You take a look at your left-hand side and you look for structure, right? Where's your previous breaks? Where's your retest? You look to your left. US 30 has nothing on the left-hand side. Why? Because we are at the most, we're at peak high. This is the highest point in the market, guys. This is the highest point in the market. My charts don't even go back further than 2017 on trading. But this is the highest point in the market. With that being said, is this the best place to look for a trade? No. For me personally, is not the best place to look for a trade. Right? We know we have 3 months of rise. This month, I'm not expecting price to continue a trend. I'm expecting price to either go down or end on a no net. So at this point with US 30, I'm not really looking for buy positions. Right? We also have 2 weeks of rise. This week being the 3rd week, price already gave us that 3rd week push. Right? And this 4-hour candle is going to be the one to tell us if price is going to give us a valid break of these highs. If price on the 4-hour time frame gives us that valid break above these highs, then I'll be expecting a higher low to be made, right, to continue the trend. Because right now, the daily time frame is still making higher highs, higher lows. The 4-hour time frame is still making higher highs, higher lows. The 30-minute time frame is still making higher highs and higher lows. But right now, price is just sitting at those higher highs, right? And taking a trade, it's just about, this is what I'm trying to help you guys understand, right? There is a difference between high probability entries and low probability entries. Your trading setup, right? Your entry model. You got to remember, in trading, there's different ways you have to view the market, right? You have your entry models, you have market structure. If market structure does not align with your entry, then you know that that's a low probability trade. Meaning, your entry model, whether it's patterns, right? Double bottoms, double tops, fib retracements, any of the ICT methods, turtle soup, market makers pattern, the fib retracements, the EMAs, right? The engulfing candles. It doesn't matter what you trade, right? Order blocks, breaker blocks. It doesn't matter what you trade. Though everything that I just said right now are entry models, right? How many times in a day, in a week, in a month, how many times do you see the market print double bottoms and double tops? How many times do you see the market print order blocks and breaker blocks, right? How many times do you see the market print engulfing candles? It's gonna print them all day. So again, as a trader, you have to ask yourself, okay, the market is always printing my entry model. Which ones are high probability and which ones are low probability? And understanding, okay, yeah, I have an engulfing candle. I have a crystal clear, very beautiful engulfing candle going long. But where are we trading in regards to market structure? We're at a higher high. So this is where you just have to ask yourself, again, as a trader, you have to ask yourself, am I willing to take a trade, a long position, right? Am I willing to open a long position trade at a higher high point, or would I rather wait for price to give me a higher low, to give me a pullback, to then take the trade? Because I already know, just from where price is at and how price is moving, this entry right here, and we'll target it. We'll even do this and we'll go over it tonight during the isolation session. This is a 50-50 trade, meaning you have a 50% chance of winning this trade and a 50% chance of losing this trade if you take these trades at the highs. Because again, it's just all about market, like the repetition that you have on the charts. Like, how many times have you seen price do this and price just continues to trend, right? And then you feel like, oh man, I missed the trade, I should have taken it, right? And then the day that you take that same trade that you think is the same setup and you think it's good, how many times do you take that trade and you say, shit, I shouldn't have taken that trade because we're trading at the high of the day? That's in everybody's rule book. You go on anybody's YouTube channel and they'll tell you, yo, we're at the high of the day. Why am I looking for long positions at the high of the day? Right? So even though there's a lot of rules here and there's a lot of confluence telling me that price wants to continue to push to the top side, right? When my entry models are giving me those confirmations, at the end of the day, market structure is not telling me that this is a good place to take a trade. I refuse to take a buy position at the high of the day. I refuse to take a buy position at a higher high, right? The same way that I refuse to take a short position at the low of the day, right? The same way that I wouldn't take a short position at the lower low, right? I would rather wait for the lower high point to be made to then take my sell setups at the lower high to continue down into the lower low, right? I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you need me to explain it in any other way. Let me know if you need me to show it on another chart, but I hope that made sense. Still here? Perfect. You said facts? What's good, Mr. Albert? Good morning, my brother. Right, so that's the biggest thing with trading, guys. Like, again, not every day is a trading day. And again, everybody's trading style is different. If you're a scalper, then yeah. If you're scalping, then more than likely, yeah, you have a trade every single day because you're just targeting small moves on the 1 minute time frame, exactly how you would do here, right? Like, if you're a scalper, you're looking for just those pieces of the pie from the bottom to the top. That's it. I'm not a scalper. That's not what I teach, right? I'm a day trader, meaning I'm looking for the move of the day. I'm looking to catch a trade and target STP for the day, right? So STP for the day, which again, the STP is the safe take profit. The safe take profit is on average how much a certain pair is going to move on a day-to-day basis, right? Which is what the ADR is. The ADR is the average daily range. On average, how much a specific pair is going to move on that day. So for today, 570 is how many pips US 30 moves. You subtract that by 33%. And 381. So STP for the day is 381. So if we were to go into a long position on US 30, 381 going long. Right, let's say we take a buy position. This is what my entry would be. This would be my TP, and my stop loss would be here. That would be the move that I'm looking for. Now, let's say price goes down and we look for short entries. Something happens and this turns around. Cool. Then we go for the high of the day, 381. And then, wherever the entry is, and my TP would be at the 381 mark for the day. Right, and it will look like something like this. So again, I hope the STP made sense, ADR made sense, what we're looking for makes sense. All pairs hit STP? No, not yet. The ones that you see pretty much that are still left that I have on, these haven't hit STP yet. EU gave us a nice engulfing candle, and this is what I get for kind of missed this since we were explaining some pairs, but it gave us a nice engulfing candle, gave us the retest. All right, and now the same thing, 66 minus 33% is 44. So STP for the day is 44 pips. Now, is there times where STP is not hit? Yeah, if you're in a zone of consolidation, if you're trading counter trend, those are all times that STP would not be hit. And we know that with Euro USD, what are we doing? We're in a little zone of consolidation. So TP number 1 should be somewhere in these highs. I would even target the 800 EMA. Right, STP for the day, or TP for the day, should be these highs. From the high of the day up to the 800 EMA. If price breaks these highs, right, then you'd be expecting price to continue into these highs here. And then you have TP for the day. But Euro USD gave us a nice engulfing candle, gave us the retest straight to profit. Straight up. With GA, we're still in a little zone consolidation. I don't know why I have this one on. I had this marked up from earlier, but we're in a zone of consolidation. Yeah, we got the valid break, but again, GA, this would be trading counter trend, and I'm not really expecting, right? And what I was looking for was for price to break these highs to continue this push to these highs here that we talked about yesterday, right? And if price gives us a break of these highs, we have clean traffic up to that third week push for the week, right? But price came to the highs, gave us the inducement, and then started making lower low, lower high, and we're back making another lower low now. So GA, I'm gonna turn that one off. GJ, we have 2 days of rise, today being the third day. Price gave us that third day high, then fell. That happened during Asia session. At the end of Asia going into London, price just moved sideways, right? On the daily time frame, on the 4-hour time, oh, I'm sorry, on the 4-hour time frame and on the 30-minute time frame, right, which is the blue and the red boxes, we're trading at the higher high, right? This move to the top side was price giving us that higher high point. So again, just goes back to what we were saying about US 30. Right, at a higher high point, are you looking for price to make higher high, higher high, higher high, or are you looking for price to make higher high, higher low to then continue into a higher high? I'm looking for a higher low. And again, on the 4-hour time frame, we just got the valid break. We're trading in this higher high over here, so I know I'm looking for a higher low point. On the 30-minute time frame, we got the break, right? This is the 30-minute high, right? So we know that this push to the top side is a higher high. Can you make the trade from the long and short position tools? I always have to create an order in the trade settings. I actually don't know, Mike. I don't really take trades on TradingView like that. Unless you have like a broker. When I trade the prop firms is on TradingView, and no, I don't think you can make an order just using the tools. You'll have to open it from the trade setting. I know I've asked this before, but what's the engulfing invalidated for EU? The engulfing, no, it wasn't invalidated on EU. Right, you have red, red, green, top and bottom candles for each, right? And then that push to the bottom side was just price giving you the retest of the engulfing to continue. It never broke below. So this is a valid engulfing candle here. This one. No problem, Mr. Mike. And then gold for the day. We're back at the high of the day. We'll give gold a little bit. I'm gonna wait till 9:30. A lot of these pairs already at this point, especially the indexes, the commodities, we're just gonna have to wait till 9:30. And I don't think, let's look at Forex Factory real quick. Yeah, we don't have news today. We have CAD news at 10 a.m., which is medium impact. And then USD, we had low impact news now at 8:30. So it just hit. So we have no news today. It's just going to be simple volume from the 9:30 open. So we'll be patient. We could already see what prices kind of, we're sitting at the high of the days, right? Going back to US 30, like we're sitting at the high of the days. At this point, the market hasn't given any inducements. It's just been trending the entire time, making higher highs and higher lows. So we know that 9:30 is going to give us an inducement. Similar to what happened yesterday at the 9:30 open, where we got a crazy wick, the inducement, and then price started giving you the entries, right, at around 10:30. I'm pretty sure the market's going to look very similar to what happened yesterday, right? And you notice it every single time the market doesn't give you an inducement before the NYC session, right? It gives it to you at that 9:30 open. Right here, it gave you the inducement at the end of Asia going into London, and then it continued the trend, right? Here on Tuesday, it never gave you the inducement the entire day. Price is just moving sideways. 9:30 hit, it gave you the inducement, right? It gave you a crazy wick, and then it continued the trend. Same thing for Monday, or I'm sorry, for Tuesday. That was Wednesday, same thing for Tuesday. It just consolidated the entire day, didn't give you the inducement until what? 9:30. Gave you that crazy candle, and then continued the trend, right? For the market, the week, Sunday going into Monday, again, same thing. Price consolidated the entire day until what? 9:30, 10 o'clock, where it gave you those inducement candles, right? Back to back. So that's the behavior of US 30. And that's every single day. That's not something that you have to guess. No, this is something like every single day, the market's going to do the exact same thing on US 30, right? The market hasn't given you no inducements. It's just been trending higher highs, higher lows. So you already know that the 9:30 open, we're going to get that volume. We're going to get some sort of inducement at the 9:30 open. So we'll be patient today. Today's going to be one of those days where we got to just sit on our hands for a little bit. We'll be here for about an hour. We'll go back and forth on the different pairs. Um, and then again, if you guys have any questions about any other pair, just let me know. So it's invalid when it wick below the engulfing candle wick. When it wicks below the second, if it's a long, for example, if it's a long position, if it goes below that second red candle wick, then it's invalidated, right? If one of the candlesticks don't have a top or a bottom wick, is not a valid engulfing candle. But yes, an engulfing candle will get invalidated if it goes below it already, if it goes below the wick. And then same thing for a short. If you have green, a green, and then you have a red, right? If price pushes up and it goes above the wick, that second green candle wick, then it invalidates the engulfing candle. So right now for GJ, we see that. We can see that that could be happening here on GJ. And again, it's the same reason. Oh, it's an engulfing candle. Why didn't it work? Again, we just talked about that on US 30 and we talked about it on GJ a couple minutes ago. Where are we? We're at a higher high. It's that simple. Like this is the exact same setup as the setup on US 30. And you could already see how it's 50-50. Right? While US 30 is still pushing up, is the exact same setup, exact same positioning, like same place in the market structure. US 30 is working and GJ is not working. What's the difference? Right? That's what makes this trade. And this entry for today, that's what makes it 50-50. And that's why I do not enter positions at a higher high. I don't care. It just doesn't make sense. Why am I going to get into a buy position at a higher high? It doesn't make sense. It's the same reason in a range, in a zone of consolidation. Why are you looking for a buy position at the top of the zone of consolidation? Doesn't make any sense. So we'll be patient. We'll be patient. No need to rush into these trades, guys. Not every day is a trading day, especially again, depending on what type of trader you are. If you're a scalper, if you're looking for scalp entries and scalp exits, it's a completely different situation. But if you are a day trader and you're looking to catch the move of the day, the trend of the day, not every day is a trading day. Not every day is going to give you a clean entry. Again, it's very simple. Go look at everybody who streams trading. Go look at their wins and losses. There's a reason why they have a 50% win rate, and they're gonna market it as, oh, I have a 80%, 70% win rate, but they have 500 wins, 150 losses, but then they have 200, 300 break evens. And they're not counting their break evens as losses. They're counting them as break evens. So they have a 70%, 80% win rate. And it's like, nah, brother, you have 500 wins and 400 losses. Like 300 break evens means that you traded something that was 50-50 and it went back to your entry and that's it. And okay, you had the knowledge to put your stops at break even, but you're still trading at a 50% win and loss. You're still trading at a 50% win rate. So that's the biggest thing. Again, is I refuse to take trades that don't make sense. Like GU, where are we? We're at a higher high. What is price doing at the higher high? It's moving sideways. Why the fuck would I take a trade at a higher high? If my bias is long, which on GU it's long because overall the market maker's pattern is long. I don't trade counter trend, right? Why would I take a fucking long position at a higher high? Why? It doesn't make sense. So like again, a day like today when almost every single pair looks very identical. Let me delete this so people don't get confused. Right? Where almost every single pair is looking identical. GU is at a higher high. GJ is at a higher high. EU is in a zone of consolidation. US 30 is at a higher high. Right? Gold, where are we? Let's go back one by one so you guys could see. Right? Gold, right now we're in a zone of consolidation for the last 4 days. Right? When we're looking at where we're at for the day, we're at the higher high. We're at the high of the day. Bitcoin. Right? Bitcoin didn't give us a clean higher high, higher low. It didn't give us a valid break. It gave us the inducement. So right now, everybody be like, oh, this is the higher low point for price to continue to a higher high. Incorrect. Price never gave you a valid break. This is not a valid higher high point, which makes this not a valid higher low point. So I can't look for those buy positions on Bitcoin. Right? Oil's moving counter trends, so I'm not really interested in oil right now. And then silver, same thing as gold. We're in a zone of consolidation. Price rejected the lows, started pushing up. We haven't, the only difference with gold and silver is that we haven't reached the high of the day just yet. Right? But you can see out of all the pairs that we have on, they're all in the same area. So a day like today, again, it's all good. There's no need to rush into these trades today. Wait for 9:30. Wait for that NYC volume to kick in. Wait for the market to give you a little bit extra confirmation, and then you take the trade. Right? Again, US 30, we're at the higher high. We're at a higher high. There's no way I'm looking for a buy position at a higher high. There's just no way. Today's a day where I sit on my hands. I wait for 9:30, and we see what happens after 9:30. If at 9:30 we get an inducement and we see a valid entry to continue the trend for the day, then perfect. We take that trade. No need to rush. No need to feel anxious. No need to be nervous. It's just another day in the office, guys. We're looking for the same thing I was looking for yesterday is the same thing I'm looking for today. The same thing I was looking for all of last month is the same thing I'm looking for today. Same thing I've been looking for the last 3-4 years is the same thing I'm looking for today. There's no difference. Is rinse and repeat every single day. Follow your rules, you win. If you don't follow your rules, you're gonna lose. It's that simple. It's really not rocket science. Again, guys, any questions, let me know. We have a little bit less than an hour before the NYC session opens, so we'll be patient. We'll keep an eye on these pairs and we'll see what happens. Anything you want me to explain again? Anything you want me to break down? Any other pairs you guys want me to go over, whether or not they're on our list? Let me know. Can we go over anchors, M and W? Yeah, for sure. So that one is also pretty simple, right? It really is as simple as it sounds, and especially on US 30, right? US 30 is a pretty good one. You know you're looking for your M's at the higher highs, right? And you know you're looking for your W's at the higher lows, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. All right, bud. Why's my computer lagging so much? We chilling? Right, and if we go down to lower time frames at those higher highs and higher lows, you'll see those. The market is not going to always print crystal clear M's and W's, right? But you know what an M is? Double top. M, W, right? Let's go back to the 30. Just so we could continue the trend. Right, then you had higher high, higher low, into these higher highs, right? So if you go again down to the lower time frames, what do you have? You have the M, and then at the higher low, what do you have? A very big W, right? Very big W. And if you go down to the 1 minute, that's where, well, we could go down to the 1 minute here. Right, and this is where price gave you the turnaround. Change, break above the 800, continue the trend to the top side. And then you have obviously the higher time frame M&Ws, the daily time frame, the 4-hour. You know, you're looking for the W and the M. You're looking for that peak high or peak low. Same thing, you're looking for the M's and the W's in a zone of consolidation. If price is in a range, right? If prices is just moving sideways, you know you're looking for the M at the top of the zone of consolidation, or you're looking for the W at the bottom of the zone of consolidation after the inducements. Can you look at NQ as I cannot view it from the NAS 100? What's RTH? I'm not familiar with the RTH. What's RTH? NQ RTH? What's RTH? Regular trading hour? What do you need me to look at specifically? All right, my bad, I'm back. Yesterday's closing price is was 29,975, 29,975. 4:30 is the closing time for NQ. Let's say you saw EU early and it gave us all the confidence we need. Will you stay on the 30-minute time frame at an entry, or you'll drop to the lower time frame? For EU, yeah, 4:30 is the closing time, by the way, for NQ. For this one specifically, I would drop down to the 5-minute, right? But we drop down to the 5-minute to see if price gave us the inducement, right? Or if price gave us a valid break of the lows, right? After the engulfing candle, right? And it was just an inducement. right? So this is where now, you know, price gave you the change, and I would take this entry on the 30-minute time frame, right? Because the engulfing candle is on the 30-minute time frame, but I would use the lower time frame to tell me if this is a valid entry or a valid engulfing candle to take, right? Because if price would have given us a valid break, and we know that we're just trading lower low, lower high, lower low, and let's say price gives us a lower high point, right? We understand that if price would have given us a lower high and then it would have given us the retest, it would have been low probability because we're still trading lower low, lower high, and we had that valid break. But because price gave us the inducement of the low, and then it turned around and gave us a change of character, you know you could take this trade here. And then again, looking for the same thing. Did price give us a valid break of these highs? No. So right now, this is where you would have to kind of babysit that trade, right? This is where you would put your stops at break even, or you would put them a little bit in profit, and you'd wait to see, okay, is price gonna go back up? At some point, is price gonna come back up and give us the higher high, right? To then continue the trend, or is price just gonna continue to make lower lows and lower highs at this point to go back down? And again, for EU, why? Because again, we're in a zone of consolidation, right? Price, this is where price is just rejecting highs, rejecting lows. So a trade like EU today, you could take the trade, but you understand you have to take that trade and babysit the trade. Because there's no confluence right now that's letting us know that price is just gonna skyrocket back to the top side. There's no confirmation. Right? When we look at how the market opened, it rejected these highs and went right back down to the bottom. Right? And then price looks like it came back, but could again. We already understand a triple top, the high of the day. What do we have up here? A double top, push, break of the neckline, and it gave us a retest. So again, an entry like EU for today is a trade where you just have to babysit the entire time until either price gives you confirmation as to where it wants to go, or until it fucking just goes back down into your break even. Now that US 30 is going up, I see what you mean. There's just too much uncertainty to where the price will go. Traffic look clean coming down. Exactly. Right? And it's again, like I said, I would rather just wait, because again, at the end of the day, US 30 I treat it a little bit different. Right? US 30 is a pair that I trade going both ways because there's just so much volume. And US 30 is a pair where you just have to follow the trend. And it's like, all right, cool. Right? We know that price is currently at a higher high. All right. What happens after a higher high? Thanks, no problem, Asant. Right. For those in the chat, what happens after a higher high? What needs to happen after a higher high? Where does price need to go after a higher high? I'll give you guys a minute to answer that question in the chat. And again, there's no such thing as a wrong answer. Just say whatever you think it is. I'll give you guys the right answer. This is a good learning point. Right. After a higher high, where does price need to go? Albert says higher low. Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Mike says higher low. Okay, cool. Anybody else in the chat? Let me know. Where does price need to go after a higher high? Right? Ascent says higher low normally should be formed. Exactly. So the easiest thing to do, how I would attack US 30 right now, I'm going to wait for that higher high to be set. Once that higher high is set, we know that we could take those trades from the higher high. We could take those short positions to go into a higher low. We know we could catch those pullbacks. And then once we make a higher low, once price confirms that we're making a higher low, then we take those buy positions from the higher low to go into the higher high. That's all I'm waiting for. Depending on market structure, it could also continue going. Exactly, it could continue to go higher 100%. But it's very rare for price to just continue to make highs and highs and highs and highs without giving you a pullback. Right? It's very rare for price to do that. But we have seen it before. We have seen it on US 30 before. We have seen it on gold before, right? And we see that happening when there's a lot of news, right? When there's a lot of things going on. And you look a week like June 11th through the 15th. What did price do? Higher high, higher low, right? Change of character, higher high, higher low, right? We took the trade at the higher high to get a pullback. Boom, higher low. Cool. Right? Why do we take these trades going short? Because price never gave you a valid break of the higher high. It gave you the inducement, gave you a higher low. Okay, then it continued. Boom, higher high. Then what did price do? Consolidate, right? It just consolidated, continued, then boom, gave you an inducement. Go back down to the bottom. Then consolidated for a little bit, gave you the inducements of these lows, and then went back to these highs. Right? We're stuck in a zone of consolidation. Same thing. Right? We got the inducement of the low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Boom, we took the trade on the retest on the lower time frame to continue back to the top. Boom, cool. Gave you an inducement. What did price do? Comes back to the low. Gave you an inducement of the low. What did it do? It came back to the high. Gave you an inducement. What did it do? It just gave you a nice little higher low point. Gave you an inducement at the 9:30 open, and then continued. Boom, gave you the break. And then what did price do after it gave you the break? It gave you another zone of consolidation where it was up, went back to the bottom, went back to the high. It was not a valid break. It was just that one candle that gave us a lot of volume for price to do what? To come back down to the bottom, right? To give you an inducement of the low to do what? To come back to the highs, right? Move sideways at these highs for a little bit. And then what did price do? Came back to the high. Did it give a valid break here? No, right? But then price continued. It gave you the break of this zone of consolidation, higher high, higher low. At the higher low, it gave you that double bottom. The internal time frame gave you a change and a break, right? Higher high, boom. It gave you the valid break here to do what? Higher low, retest of that internal time frame. To then continue, boom, higher high. To do what? Higher low. To then do what? What we're doing now at the higher high. What function key? I don't really use function keys. I just literally click it and then I just remove it. Or you could click it and then just put on your keyboard. You could just delete it on the keyboard with the back button. Like if you were typing something and you delete what you type, just click that same button when you click it. Same thing for the drawings. Like if you were deleting something that you're typing. No problem, Albert. So let's just get our charts ready on the 1 minute time frame here on US 30. We know that we're still making higher highs and higher lows. On the 5 minute time frame, we're trading higher high and higher low. .30 minute, it gave us the valid break. So we're trading now between higher high, higher low, these higher highs at the top. You know, could we mark this up on the 30 minute as higher high, higher low, and then higher high if we want to mark it up a little bit more aggressively? We could do that. And we're trading between this higher low and this higher high on the 30 minute time frame. Good morning, Mr. Shakai. What's good, my brother? Chilling like a villain or what? Then on the 1 minute here, give you a little engulfing candle going short, but that green candle is a doji candle, so I wouldn't count this as a valid engulfing candle. We got 24 minutes for the NYC Open, so we'll give it a few minutes. We'll see what price wants to do.
These tubs are a better.
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck, bro? There's a fucking snake in my bowl. A big ass snake. A big ass fucking snake. Oh my god. I'm trying to deal with this dumbass shit. Haven't done that all day. Got a fucking snake in my boot? Like, what the hell? Oh, bro. Is this recording, dude? Holy shit. Gosh. Bro. What the fuck are you doing in there? Oh. Get your fucking ass out of there. Oh my gosh, dude. It was literally sitting in my
You're using two screens? I have two screens, but no, I usually just look at one screen when I look at my charts. I don't have two charts open or like two screens open with the charts.
Crabby Patties. Boy, your ass gotta be doing crack. Don't you know that puss ass award ain't worth a damn? Damn. Hey, Squidward, please don't snitch, bro. Come on. I need to get this award. I gotta get in good with Mr. Krabs. I already told your stinking ass I don't give a fuck about that stupid ass award. Man, that award ain't stupid, bro. It's a symbol, just like this hat. That it's a symbol that you a bitch ass nigga. Hey, no, wait, hold on, bro. This is a symbol of what I think about Mr. Krabs and that shitty booty ass award, nigga. See, Squidward, if you was a real nigga, you know that I put this random stick of lead in my head. I'm gonna tell your stinking ass for the last time. Fuck you and fuck that weak ass award. Man, what is you doing? Making them. Hey, go! No. Buenas tardes. Aquí tenemos mis flan chiquititas, pero no tenemos uno, no tenemos mi favorita, mi flan. Bueno, vamos a hacer una flip. Hacer una flip. Ay, no. Por España. Ay, no. Mi plan. Mi plan. El última vez sin leche, sin coco, sin todo. Por favor, por España, por Galicia, You said it was too expensive, so we dropped the price. Still said it was too much, so we threw in free shipping. Still think
Yeah, I saw that. My bad. Those trading rules are most ease trading rules, so I can't really give you the best breakdown of those rules because those are his, like what he looks for on a day to day basis. It's a little bit different than mine. If you want to write those down, you can. It's definitely not a bad thing to look at because the foundation of it is pretty much the same. Comes to markets like US 30, is there other rules? With US 30 a little bit, but I'm not gonna share that with you because you shouldn't trade. And this is not only you specifically, just in general. Like, there's only one person in the stream that I would, or in the Discord that I would share US 30 with in its entirety, which is Kendall, because he's the only one that is at that point now that could trade US 30. And he has been trading US 30. US 30 is a pair you have to graduate to. Focus first on the smaller pairs, right, on the regular Forex pairs. But pairs like US 30, pairs like Bitcoin, pairs like gold, it's you have to graduate to these pairs. They're a lot more difficult to trade, and it's a lot easier to make mistakes on bigger pairs like these, and it's a very, very expensive pair. One mistake on US 30 blows your account, right? One mistake on AUD USD, one mistake on Euro USD is just a mistake. You don't lose nothing by making a mistake on those smaller pairs. But making a mistake on gold, making a mistake on Bitcoin, on silver, on oil, making a mistake on US 30 is very costly. It's gonna cost a lot of money. So I would tell you I wouldn't even focus on US 30 if I were you. These rules comes from the gym, bro. The butter, yeah. His are very, very, again, his rules are very a little bit more advanced. A little bit more advanced. Which again, like I said, is not a bad thing to have them and have them written down, especially when he starts doing his sessions on Wednesdays again. Today's Tuesday, right? Um, but before we could even speak about ease entries, and even before we could even speak about US 30, you have to understand the basics first.
that's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a basketball game. Did he throw it to him while he was on the ground? And it was still in, too. Look. It was still in, and he grabbed it.
I've seen Kendall doing the same, yeah. Yeah, Kendall's already at that point. Kendall's been doing this shit now for 2 years every single. He's the one that I could say he's been doing it every single day for 2 years. So, you know, you guys saw it, right? He just posted his certificate. He passed it last week. He's already trading live accounts as well. Like everything that I told him that he had to do, he did it. Right? Trade demo first, he did that. Learn this first, he did that. Then once you learn this, then you can start trading. Then he started trading live accounts. Right? Then with his live accounts, then he started trading with the props. Right? And now he passed his prop. His next step is, yo, every time you get a payout, put that shit on a live account. There you go. It took him 2 years. Literally, I think this around this time 2 years ago is when I met Kendall, if I'm not mistaken. And again, he's the only one in our Discord. He's the only one that's been doing it every single day. Right? He doesn't take a break. He doesn't be like, oh, I'll be back in 2 months, 3 months. He's doing it every single day.
What I say? South, you go back to the system and wait. Your choice. What? Good. That's what I thought. That's your little brother. What? What you do? Coach wants that you had a kid on campus. Where is he? Where you left? Look, man, just please don't tell coach. Oh, no. You are. I was caught off guard just like you, but I had no choice. Why wouldn't you tell us? I wanted to, but you knew it was wrong, so you didn't. You didn't think managing school, football, and hiding a kid on campus would get complicated. You know, he leaves tomorrow. Put yourself and your team in jeopardy. Coach, I had no choice. You had a choice, but you decided it'd be better to hide from us than tell the truth. Hey, sorry, I just... See? Wasn't my fault. It never is. It's like showing up to practice when I told you to stay home. You're stubborn. Hey, see, my mom is... She's a drug addict. For the past month, I had to bring my little brother to you.
Kendall came the same as me. What do you mean? At the same time, or I don't remember if that's what you're asking. Did you come at the same time as Kendall? Pause. That sounded mad weird. I think so. It could have been around the same time, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been around the same time. Again, at this point on the higher time frames, we're trading at a higher high. Right? So all I'm looking for, again, we got 10 minutes for the NYC session. All I'm looking for is on the lower time frame, right? On the 1 minute time frame. Is price continuing the trend, or are we getting inducements? And right now we're getting the inducement. Right? We don't have a valid break just yet of these highs. Right, I want to see a valid break. This is not the right tool. Price continues to give us higher highs and higher lows and valid breaks. We know we'll continue to get this. Now, again, at this point, we have this gap, bottom of the market. So if by 9:30 we get the inducement, 9:30 open is going to hit, I'll be expecting price to do some crazy shit, come back down, you know, fill this gap up in the market and then continue. But we'll see. Right, we got the valid break. So price still making higher highs and higher lows. So at this point, what could I be expecting? Right? Price is most likely give us a higher low point. And then we'll look at STP for the day. It'll be something like this is what I'll be looking for on the 1 minute time frame. I think he joined earlier than I did. Yeah, maybe it was like a month or two difference, but it was definitely around the same time, if I'm not mistaken. As a matter of fact, can't we check that in the Discord? If we click on Kendall's name. Member since October 31st, 2025. No, but that's not his other account. I need to see it. This is the Kendall Sprouts account. Let's see. Because he had two accounts. January 2025 was when he joined. And then Albert. He joined January of 2025. You joined September of 2024. So you actually joined first than him. Um, for the site you're using to trade, do they have apart options as well? Oh, paper. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Every broker has a demo account you could open. Yeah. I think his first DM will tell. Yeah, he joined in January of 2025. I think I was with E at that time. Yeah. I joined October of 2024. Damn, you guys are old. Gates FX. I can send you the link to it, Mr. Mike. Well, Booker, thank you, no problem. I'll put it here in the YouTube chat. I believe Albert also uses this broker, if I'm not mistaken. Got 4 minutes for the NYC Open. We'll see what Price wants to do here. Honestly, y'all have the softest life. I'm here crying and hand washing and shit. Oh man, he's a washer. Nah, bro, that is crazy. Like in DR, for example, they have a washer and a dryer, but you still have to like still technically have to manually hand wash in DR. Like, yeah, you have the machine, you put the soap in and it spins it, but that's all it does, and then you have to take it out, dump it in water to take the excess soap off of it, right? And then you got to put it in the dryer. So technically, yeah, they have a washer dryer, but you still have to manually. It's not like here in the states. Here in the states, we got a fucking machine that does that shit all completely. You put it in the washer, you put the soap in, it rinses, it spins, then you put it in the dryer. Like, yeah, that shit. We really do have it easy. I think I'm gonna go short on gold if price induces the high. Let's take a look. I haven't looked at gold in a minute. I've been just focused on US 30. Let's see for these last couple minutes what price. Yo, no way this shit is gonna be this slow. All right. Let's do it like this then. It's all good. Gold. Yeah, we're back at the high of the day. Gave us the inducement of the high. Came back, gave us another inducement with this candle. Wouldn't be bad. All right. The only thing I would wait for me personally, again, I'll definitely wait for that 9:30 open. But then I'll also just keep a look at the 1 minute. Right? We're at this point, right? We know price gave us higher high, higher low, right? Gave us this inducement, right? The only thing I don't like about this inducement is I would have liked to have seen price, the body of the candle at least close above this body, right? But it did give us the lower high point, right? And then this is where the change of character happened, right? And notice how in the change of character, right? So now we know we're trading between this low and this high, right? At the change of character to the low side, it gave you an engulfing candle, right? A bullish engulfing candle. Sorry, right? So I'd just be careful with this area here, right? And at the end of the day, what is this? A zone of consolidation, where price has rejected the lows, rejected the highs, right? Rejected the lows, rejected the highs, came back, right? So we don't have a valid break of the highs. We also don't have valid break of the lows. So this is where the accumulation is going. Again, price for the day hasn't given you the inducement. It's just been pretty much trending, right? Up until now, where price gave us an inducement of the high, but it's really just been price moving. Now is where we're seeing the inducement happening. So I'm pretty sure 9:30 open is gonna do some crazy shit. We'll see some fast moves as soon as the market opens for the NYC session. Got 15 seconds. GU is back at the low of the day, just moving sideways. And then GJ is still there as well. Okay, so let's just take a look at US 30. Come on, we got 8 seconds. Move. This is the wrong time to have these fucking charts freeze, bro. Crazy work. I think I quit Gates FX. I switched to Hero FX. Gates was spamming me, and there's no area to delete my account. That's shady. They spam a lot via email. I know they send a lot of promotional emails, but it's fairly easy. I've been using Gates FX now for like 2 years. I haven't had no problems with them. I used to use Hero FX though. I did use Hero FX for a little bit, but I like the spreads on Gates a little bit more than I did on Hero. That's why I use Gates. But deleting the account it's pretty easy. You probably just didn't see it on the account. But whatever you're more comfortable with, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong, broker to really use. Doesn't make it, as long as you're able to make your deposits and you're able to withdraw, that's all that matters. So here we got the inducement. The crazy candles gave us an inducement of the low. Right before the push down, it gave us the inducement of the high, and then push down, filled that gap up. We'll see what price wants to do here. And plays a song, it does. As soon as my washer is done, plays a little tune so you know that it's done. Same thing with the dryer. As soon as the dryer is done, plays a little music so you know that it's done. So again, pattern recognition is also something you guys have to get used to when it comes to trading. Right now, what could potentially be happening with US 30? Shoulder head shoulder. So we'll wait it out. All right, today's a day where you're most likely going to get a trade anywhere between 9:45 and 11 a.m. for US 30. So we're going to have to sit here for a little bit. Kind of just give the market a few minutes to shape up. And then we'll come back to it. So let's open up another tab. We'll wait for that shit to load, bro. It's all good. And then we'll see. I felt the air rise up in me, kneel down to clear the stone of leaves. I wander out where you can see. Inside my shell I wait and bleed. Hey. So in the 1 minute, we got the change of character. 1 minute change. And I'll be looking for a 1 minute break of structure. Price tapped into that engulfing candle that we have on the higher time frame. Where again, this is simple higher high, higher low, higher high. Could this be a nice higher low point to take a trade? Once again, trading at an all-time highs, not really the best thing to do so. The only way I'll get into this engulfing candle is, let's draw it out so we could all be on the same page, right? If price gives us lower low, lower high, taps into it again, and gives us an inducement, right? And then starts turning around, that's where I'll start looking to take the trades. Change of character, break of structure. I'll get in here to continue the push to the top side. That's what I'll be looking for. Price below the shoulder head shoulder. It didn't create the shoulder head shoulder. For the shoulder head shoulder to have been created, I would have wanted to see price give another zone of consolidation up here. And it didn't. It just created the first shoulder, but then just fell below. So this is not a valid shoulder head shoulder. Look at Euro USD, continued that push to the top side. I thought it did with the highlight. All good. Man, bro, this is fucking taking forever to load. Opened up with a crazy gap here. One minute gap.
You keep that from me.
I didn't want you to see me as baggage.
Not baggage, Ray. Taking care of your family isn't something you hide. It's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Trust me, you don't know my family.
You clearly don't know me.
I'm sorry. That's it. I promise. That's it.
What's his name?
Seymour, but I call him Faye.
I assume your father isn't around.
He left a few years after Faye was born.
Is Faye with your mom again now?
No. She's in treatment a little bit longer, so he's in a group.
And you're okay with that?
You see, I have no choice. Faye being here almost cost me my spot on the team.
But what happens to Faye if your mom doesn't get better?
Coach, hey, right? Can I talk to you for a second? Yeah. We looked into all the rules here. You're in danger of losing your scholarship. They found him living here. I mean, it's a miracle we got away with this one. The last thing I want to be is a distraction to this team. But I'm the only person Faye has right now. So if that means leaving the team, then I have to accept it. Let's go. Where are we going? We're going to get your brother. North, you do what I say when I say it. South, you go back to the system and wait on mom. Your choice. What?
North!
That's what I thought. Bet your little brother. What?
All right. And if you would have taken these trades early, thinking, oh, price is going to continue higher, high, higher, low, engulfing candle, straight to fucking stop loss. They don't give a fuck about you or your engulfing candle. So again, understanding low probability and high probability trades, guys, is very important. Again, every single day, guys, every single day, the market is going to print your entry model. The market every single day is going to print double bottoms, double tops, order blocks, breaker blocks, right? Everything. The market is always going to print your entry model. Understanding high probability versus low probability and why, being able to see it in real time like we did just now, this for the last, how long we've been streaming for? An hour and 44 minutes. That's all we've been talking about and explaining. It's very, very, very important to understand why that entry was low probability. Right? It's very, very, very important. So again, just be patient. The 1 minute is telling you exactly what you gotta know. It gave you the inducement of the highs, gave you the change of character. Cool. In order for us to start looking, why am I not rushing into it? Yo, we have 380 pips to play with today. We have all of this space. If we look for shorts, we have all of this area all the way down to the bottom to take a trade and place our stop or take profits, right? Same thing going long, right? We have all of this area from where price is at now all the way to the top to take a trade. All I'm looking for is my confirmations as to where price wants to trend. All we have is a change of character to the bottom side. It's still an inducement. That's not, oh, change of character starts making lows. Now I'm gonna look for shorts. No. After the change, I'm looking for a valid break. Right? All we have is the inducement. Price is respecting the 800 EMA. Cool. Now I want to start seeing price making higher highs and higher lows. If we could get price to start making higher highs and higher lows on the 1 minute time frame, that's when I'll start looking to take these trades. Right? On the 5 minute time frame, price gave us the change of character as well. Right? We were trading higher high, higher low into these higher highs on the 5 minute. And on the 5 minute, it gave me a change of character with that wick. 30 minute time frame, what is price doing? Higher high, higher low, higher high. Gave us a higher low with that candle. This candle closes still in 15 minutes. We'll wait it out. 30 minute time frame, still higher high, higher low. 5 minute time frame gave us a change of character inducement. 1 minute time frame gave us a change of character inducement. So right now, just wait it out. As soon as we start making higher highs and higher lows again, I'll look for those long positions. Price gives us the change and then the valid break on the 1 minute, we start trending below the 800. We know we can start looking for trades going short somewhere in this area here to then continue back down to the bottom. So just be patient. So LMAO straight to stop, straight to stop. Yo, I'm telling you. See, GJ still messing at these lows. GU, we're still at the lows. At this point, I'm gonna turn these pairs off. Right, EU is still sitting in the same spot. Gold. Same thing we just talked about, Shikai. Like, yo, you know, we know we're at the high of the day. But we understand that we're also in a little zone of consolidation. Right? Where price gave us a change to the bottom, gave us a change back to the top side. We're just trapping traders left and right the entire time. Now, wait for the valid break. Right? We have higher high, change of character, higher low. And now we want to see if price is going to give us a valid break of these highs. If it gives us a valid break of those highs, it's just going to continue. And then we have this here. We have SCP already at this point. Just be patient. Bitcoin, we're sitting in the same spot as well. And then silver doing the same thing as gold. The only difference with silver is we have this engulfing candle that could print in the next couple minutes, in 13 minutes. That's exactly how my charts mark. Perfect. Man, sometimes trading, yo, I've always said it. I've said this shit for years. Like, you know, I'm not a trader. I'm a professional waiter. I just be waiting all fucking day. Like trading doesn't mean you're taking buy and sell positions every single day, and then every single day you're taking both setups, buys and sells in the same trade on the same chart. Like, nah. Like, I'm looking for the trade of the day. I'm looking to catch my pips for the days. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, if there's nothing that's crystal clear, there's no point in taking the trade. There's no point in wasting your time, stressing yourself out. Right? 1 minute price is trending to the top side, and then the next it's fucking dumping. We have a gap here and here on the 1 minute time frame, so we'll see. There's a lot of patience needed to be a good trader. To be a consistent trader, you need a lot of patience, and you need to trust your rules. Price filled this gap up. Kneel down the clear stone leaves.
Have a good night. Good night. Hey, good shot, nigga.
Here, Mama jumps up on me, my baby boy, and I start petting him, and I feel something hard. And you know, we live in the woods. Never seen a tip this big in my entire life, and it's freaking. I don't know how to get it off. It's okay. Like, oh my God. We're just curious for reference. That's how big it is. That's absolutely insane. Here.
Name a movie that you watch without sound.
The idea that one snack.
Yes, I want you to be my girlfriend. Yes, I want you to be my fiance. Yes, I want you to be my wife. Yes, I want you to end up being mother of children. Oh, wow. Wait, I believe you see it in the future. Yes, I want you to be my girlfriend. Yes, I want you to be my. You don't know how long it'll be.
It's just a couple of months, I'll be stable again.
Faye needs someone right now. Not in a couple of months. Faye needs stability right now. No one can give him that.
Things will be different this time, but I promise.
Mom, we've done it too many times, but the reality is you're sick. I pray every night that day you leave rehab, you'll never go back. But I can't keep risking Faye's life like this anymore. It's not fair. Oh, it's hard, Hunter, but that's me. To promise that I'll always be there.
Your speech for the hearing?
Yes, sir. Not too sure what to say yet.
Well, it turns out it might not matter. Simmons talked to Mike Farrell. It's looking likely they're not going to grant your release. I just wanted you to hear it.
Still gonna go.
Something tells me you don't know how to give up. You know, Press is having a field day. This game Saturday, about goal, father versus son, all that nonsense. Truth is, that game is over. I'll meet my father midfield. Gonna hug. Husband's fan. That's what matters. I guess sometimes I even take that privilege for some of the toughest men I know could not endure. A lot of people, including
received your petition for a waiver of NCAA rules regarding a system of petition to the petition, you are entitled to a statement.
Brother and I had kind of like that heart makes you think you don't need anyone. You can do everything by yourself. I didn't have a picture perfect family growing up. It was always just me and my brother. So when I took Faye in, that would stay the same. I admit I underestimated the responsibilities of being a student athlete every day. He kept telling me it would help if I just left him. I never wanted to be seen as a team fix, but I realized that wasn't true. They saw me as family. That's why they're all here behind me today. My coaches, my teammates, my community, people I love. Clemson taught me it's okay to open up and accept help. Everyone needs a little every once in a while. Believe me, I never meant to do it. Clemson has given me the opportunity to change my life. I never intentionally jeopardized or hurt my school in any way. But now I have to choose between football and my brother. So before you make your decision, I thought you should know that I have already made mine. You don't know how long.
Start stepping. I say that Supercross riders don't get paid enough all the time, and I actually share the numbers behind it. And whenever I make videos about it, make this, and there is money to be made in the sport, but doing good in the main events is borderline impossible because the people that someone like me or other private B are getting paid over $500,000 a year to ride their dirt bike. They have a full team and don't have to anything race. That's obviously taking nothing away from them. They are unbelievable athletes. But it really leaves someone like me buried behind in the dust because there is just no way in any catch up to them. It's pretty much impossible. You can get close, but you definitely can't go win a 450 championship. I promise you. It's never going to happen for someone in my position. Now, obviously, that's not my goal. I don't want to go get paid standing main. Just make a main dirt bike, which I'm doing right now with my social media and also pro. And a better pro, so that goal. I don't think a lot of people understand the levels to this shit. It'd be like taking some low league baseball player and putting him against the best players in the pro league. I say that Supercross.
So I'm out to eat at the Krusty Krab, and I just got my receipt back after I finished. I dined in, but look at this receipt. So I get a Krabby Patty. They charge me $3 just to add.
You don't want baby food? Want the rice chicken?
It's a skull cap, first of all. No, I didn't get it. Yeah, that.
Come with me for some self-care activities.
0.27 seconds. 2 seconds. 6. Who's gonna do it? Three.
I really wasn't happy that she was dating a man of another color. Being honest with you now, so you want to get mad at me, you just get mad at me. Before I finish, and then you can shoot me out. But I really wasn't happy with her dating man of another color. You were the first guy that she dated another guy. And I wasn't happy with him at all. I mean, I just detested him. He treated her.
All right. We got the 1 minute break as well. Now we know we're trading lower lows and lower highs at this point.
But I will tell you right now, true heart, true spirit, I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. I don't know of another man other than my husband. I had to beat the hell out of him. But I don't know of another person that I admire as much as I admire you, and love as much as I love you. You take care of my families. You take care of my family so beautifully and do so much for me and my son. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you like a son. Love you too, and there's nothing I won't do for you. Love you too, Granny. You're wonderful.
Let's see if we could get a little pullback before price goes into STP for the day. Start looking for those entries. Right, you can see GJ invalidated the engulfing candle. And again, it's all good. Right, we understood that this was low probability. We had 3 days of rise already. We're at a higher high point. Gotta wait for price to give us that pullback. So we'll turn GJ off now. So let's now minimize our charts, right, and see what other entries we could see and what else could we go for. Right, so on gold, price gave us the change back to the top side, right? If we want to be aggressive with this on the 1 minute, we could say that this is where price gave us the change of character, right? Because regardless, even if this is the change or if this is the change, we're still looking for a valid break of these lows, right? So I'm gonna start marking this up. And again, we already understood this is a low probability engulfing candle because we're trading at the higher high. 1 minute change of character. And now I'll be looking for a 1 minute break.
The bottom for now. Bottom for now. All right. Hopefully the bottom for now. No, excuse me. I got a pancake.
Price didn't give us a valid break of the highs. And we're looking for a valid break of the low of the zone of consolidation, and we did get a valid break here. So looking decent for gold. All right, we also have a gap here. 1 minute gap.
Let's see. New hourly. Planning to move in.
I just need to get a cup of gravy. Sorry. Not drive home until I know it's in my car. Cow, what was
Friends, a 30-minute engulfing on US 30 up at these highs, not valid. It doesn't have a top wick. Red candle does not have a top wick, so it's not a valid engulfing candle. Remember, each candle in the engulfing pattern has to have a top and a bottom wick. The green candle, top and bottom wick. The second green candle closed above the wick, also has a top and a bottom wick. Red candle has a bottom wick, but it doesn't have a top wick, so it's not a valid engulfing candle. Each candle needs to have a top and a bottom wick. Right, same thing on the 15. Right, the 15, top and bottom wick on the green candles, but the red candle does not have a top wick. I'm using capital.com.
That was huge.
Imagine being detained by the Taliban, finding out they were more kind and more terrifying than you had ever imagined. I had been traveling through central Afghanistan, and one evening I went for a run. It got dark, I got lost, and I ran into two Taliban members on a motorcycle.
My coming to your room. Okay. My room.
I go to your room. Apparently, their entire unit had been looking for me. 20 Talis looking for one lost American tourist.
My name is Dr. Love.
My name is Eric.
Salam. Sorry. Salam. Hi.
Taliban were surprisingly friendly. They gave me tea, offered me food, made sure I wasn't hurt. They were just as curious about me as it was about them.
My mom and dad are Taiwan. American. Trump is president, yeah.
Things started getting a little chummy, so I asked if any of them had fought war against the US. One of them nodded, pulled out his phone, showed me a video of a US Humvee hitting a roadside bomb, flung into the air like a ragdoll. Suddenly, the man sitting across from me, his finger on the trigger of his AK-47 didn't look so friendly. I don't know why, but I tried to act like the video didn't bother me. I kept listening, kept answering questions, kept drinking tea, the whole time just wondering when they'd let me. Eventually, they presented this letter to me, addressed to the US Embassy, basically saying that I had gotten myself lost, was found by the nearby Taliban, that everything was good. I pressed my thumb on the paper, said my goodbyes, and they took me back to my hotel. In my line of work, I look for the humanity in every person I meet, and these men had it. They fed me, they kept me safe, they had their own families, lives, hopes, and dreams, and they were celebrating the death of American soldiers. Though things were true, I still don't know what to do.
Looking for a valid break. Wanted to see a candle close below this wick. This red candle here gave us a little break below. We'd like to see a stronger close, but it did give us a valid break, technically speaking. We still got that gap at the top. We'll see what price wants to do here for gold. Does it want to give us a steeper pullback, or is it just going to respect, give us a nice pullback for the day? All right, and then gold we have on the 30, we're trading higher high, higher low. Right, higher high. This is where price started turning around on the 30, where it gave us the change of character. 30-minute change of character. Right, then it gave us lower low, lower high. We're looking for a valid break of these lows. Right, price did not give us a valid break. Right, all of the candles are still touching the BOS line, every single candle here. And then price came up. Right, gave us a change of character back to the top side. Right, so we know that we're trading between this low on the 30 and these highs on the 30. I think you should create a bot to delete and ban those scammers posting links to their WhatsApp and website at the section of platforms. But we do have a bot. That's the problem, is that no bot works. Discord right now is like we have, like, think about it. We have a bot that you have to, in order to even post, you need to verify your account, and it's going through it. Like, it's suspicious or spam, previous 24 hours, bad. Like, it's crazy, like how they go through the bot. I don't know how they do it, but right. EU came back down at the retest. GU is falling as well. How did S&P look today? Right. NQ just retested the break and then continued that drop. Yeah, I'll have to look into it, Albert. We'll most likely add another bot to it. We'll see if we could catch something small in US 30. We'll wait it out and see what happens. See if it wants to give us a little pullback. We'd love to get a little pullback on US 30.
What sound does a firework make? Boom, boom, pop, 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 pop. What? Oh my God, the cop, bro. The cop. You don't. I won't, bro. How do you know about that, bro?
Damn. Gave no pullback, straight to TP. Okay, no problem. So that's pretty much it for the day on US 30. STP's already hit. Right, but you guys see how we could stay away from getting into low probability trades, right? That was the key for today's session, pretty much, right? Is like, yo, it's very easy to get trapped, right? And it's very, very easy to get trapped, right? And you're gonna have days where you're gonna be following your rules and it just doesn't give you that picture perfect trade that you want to take. Now, a lot of people be like, well, it gave you the break in the retest here. Why didn't you just get in on the retest? It's all about risk management as well, right? And at the end of the day, like if we were to take a trade here, just simple, just break and retest, where's your stop loss going to be? Right? In this area, your stop loss has to be above the previous lower high point and your TP has, if you're targeting STP, right? And if you're comfortable and you're okay with taking a one-to-one trade, it's not bad. It's a one-to-one trade, get what you're able to get and you're good. But for me personally, it's just not worth to take that small of a trade at that point. So I wanted to see a steeper pullback. If we would have gotten a pullback into the 50 EMA, if we would have gotten a pullback into the 800 EMA, like a nice little lower low, lower high point, then it would make a little bit more sense, right? We'll take a trade somewhere in this area, stop loss still above here, and then that one-to-one trade, it's a little bit higher, right? 1 to 2, 1 to 3, makes a little bit more sense, right? And depending on structure and what happens here, we could even have a tighter stop loss above that area, and it turns it into a 1 to 5, 1 to 6, right? A little bit of a better entry, right? And a little bit more profits at the end of the day. So US 30, we're done for the day. Let's go look at gold, right? Gold still hasn't hit STP for the day, so we could keep an eye on gold. Price is still at these highs. All right, so this shit's taking too long, so let's go here. Save, close this out, stay here. All right, so now we know we have a nice little lower low, lower high point. We still got that gap at the top. We have the lower low down here. The same thing. I'm looking for something to print to tell me price is going to continue, whether it's an engulfing candle on the lower time frame. And I'm looking for the same rules, right? In order for this to give me the confirmed lows, that price has turned around and this isn't just a higher time frame, higher high, higher low to continue back to the highs. I want to see that 50 cross below the 200, When I see the 50 cross below the 200 EMA, that's the confirmation that I want to see to start looking for those entries at the lower high points to continue down into the lower low. So we still got a little bit to go, a little bit of just waiting for gold. I'll give it till 10:30. If at 10:30 we don't have anything, I'll be done for the day. And we'll be back again tonight for the isolation session. US 30 doesn't want us to eat today? Nope, not today, man. Risk reward is not that good. No, it's not worth it. Because at the end of the day, you could take that trade off the retest, but it's such a close retest to where price could have gone a little bit higher, right? That's what I was expecting based on the EMAs, the crosses of the EMAs, right? How many times have we always seen that happen? So again, it's just repetition. It's, again, what we were saying earlier is pattern recognition at the end of the day. And today it didn't play out exactly how we wanted it to, which is okay. That happens. Right? The same thing I was looking for on US 30, I'm looking for the same thing to happen here on gold. The cross of the 50 and the 200. If we get the cross of the 50 and the 200, we know we could take those trades at the lower high point. Right now, taking this short position, for me, it doesn't make sense. Can you show us the gap? Yeah, the gap is right here on the 1 minute. Right here.
I'm finna get that belt out, y'all. Sing louder. Sing louder. Come on, from the top. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. Top, there you go. This game, he comes up plated. He comes up with plate.
Today, my daughter competed.
We thought you get tired. He didn't. He actually got worse. I have it right now.
One more time.
You're wondering where our dad is. He lives there. Did I ever say you're a new trampoline? Yeah. Dad, new trampoline. There's like 2 seconds.
What's a cuppa? Cuppa? What's a cuppa? What is a cuppa?
The United States part about parlay. Maybe somebody's day. I came in and I'm here to stay. I'm always shooters will be like they clay. Like the person when I'm collecting.
Tong ting tong. I'm right. What about?
Still renting? Don't sign that lease.
There you go, man. No, just valuable.
Okay.
See if you can, I'm a fighter. No, then you can make a scene about it. Yesterday. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, safe house. Bless you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. There you go, man.
My God, bro.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? What is this shit? What is this shit? What is happening? Is this a fucking salvia trip? What episode was this from? 10 seconds on the clock, bro. 10 seconds on the clock. Oh, no fucking way. Why is this thing going down? Oh my God.
My God. This is my biggest paycheck ever from racing my dirt bike professionally. Let's talk about it. Now, this video did just drop right now if you guys want to go watch that. I have $1,000 cash check from the race. Now I did a fair race. I won 3 motos, got second last one, little one, but ended up track. This kind of sounds in a little fair race with very little funding, pays way more than Supercross and motocross. So D-Ray was actually there, so I did have my work cut out for me. So was another pro named Tucker. We had a lot of really good battles, and overall just super fun, and happy I was able to put it together. Give me some dollars.
Anybody got an electric car yet?
I have
You got a couple of electric? Which ones you got?
Driver, Hummer.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Okay. Do you gotta plug them up all the time or what? How's that work?
Yeah, sit on the charger.
Sit on charge all day? But you gotta plug them up every day?
My cars be shipped out. We be designing them. Be all over the place.
I know you can cut back on some of the design, man, because I know they gotta be following you all over.
I'm not a sprinter.
Yeah, they don't know.
vodka pistachio latte, $9. I do not have $9. People just be leaving skates out to die. You're welcome. Send it back. I'm not gonna let them die out in the sun. People just be leaving.
How offended he gets because I call it Planet Fitness and not LA Fitness. I'm telling you, he actually gets upset. In the divisions,
a car that.
Okay, there's no pork in this, right?
Oh. You don't eat pork?
No, brother. I'm Muslim. Okay, there's no pork in this, right?
You don't eat pork?
No, brother. I'm Muslim.
Man, let's chill here. What do you think's winning the World Cup? Portugal. Do you know what couch is? Do you have couch?
Before, about after I left y'all. Okay, after I left y'all.
All right. At this pullback, it gave us a 1 minute engulfing candle. But again, why is this engulfing candle retest low probability? Because we still don't have the cross of the 50 and the 200. So right now, not looking to take these trades just yet. Still just waiting it out. All right, it gave us that engulfing candle, gave us a retest, fucking kept going down. God damn it. Give me the confirmations I want to see. What's STP for the day for gold? Come on, load, 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 load. 110 minus 33% is 73 pips. 73 pips. Whatever, that's good enough. The low of the day as well is what I'm gonna be looking at. I'm gonna put a horizontal line here, and we'll have another horizontal line at the STP for the day. So we know what our targets are for TP. Alright, guys, that's pretty much it for me today. Any questions? Anybody else in the chat? Any questions? Anything you want me to go over again? Anything you want me to explain? Any questions at all, let me know. If not, then again, that's pretty much it for me today, guys. And we'll be back tomorrow. Well, we'll be back tonight for the isolation session. No, but that was fun and a great session. Thank you, no problem, Mr. Mike. W stream, thank you, Shikai. W. You know, gold will still be a good one to keep an eye on. If we could get a nice little pullback, even if price could give us a pullback into the engulfing candle again, I would say we could take that trade, right? But at this point, right, we could see that we got that valid break, perfect, right? I wouldn't be surprised if price just gives us like something like US 30 where it just gives us a simple retest to then continue back down. And then again, my targets for my TP, obviously for the day, there's no news, there's not a lot of volume. I would just target the low of the day for my TP number 1. And if you want to continue to just babysit the trade, once price gets down to these lows to then continue to make lower lows and lower highs, then I would put my TP. I would wait for STP to be hit at these lows. So if you guys are still on your charts and you want to just continue to look for a trade, gold definitely doesn't look bad at this point to continue to look for those trades. But all good, brother. Thank you. No problem, Mr. Adrian. Yeah, have a good day. Thank you, Mike. You too, my brother.